Hey everyone, it's Dr. RAMANI. So for this video, let me put this to you as a question. Which type of narcissist is most likely to cheat on you? Well, betrayal is a central dynamic of narcissistic relationships, and all forms of betrayal, lying, breaking your confidence, sharing stuff you ask them not to share with other people, financial betrayal, not protecting you, all of it. And something that feels like it happens a lot in narcissistic relationships is infidelity or just generally shady behavior in that space. The challenge with the infidelity conversation is that not all, in fact, I would even say not most narcissistic folks have affairs or don't have sex out of the relationship. Instead, the larger umbrella of infidelity is all that other stuff that breaks your heart. Emotional infidelity, inappropriate electronic relationships, romantic texting or sex texting, people they met or people they work with. And then there's all that stuff that feels infidelity and betrayal adjacent. Comparing you to other people that they find attractive or to ex-partners. And this is also triangulation and also feels like a betrayal. Like I said, having emotional affairs, things that get them supply and keep up all that novelty stimulation that they need, but which still hurt. And on top of that, you're often gaslighted about it. There's lots of reasons that people cheat in relationships. And a lot of people who are not narcissistic cheat. And some people cheat because they're in narcissistic relationships, and getting some attention for the first time ever feels healing. And some people have said to me, yeah, a little bit of this something on the side is why I'm able to actually survive in the narcissistic relationship. Cheating, infidelity, call it what you will, does not mean someone is narcissistic. And again, a lot of narcissistic people cheat, but definitely not all. Now, narcissistic infidelity in particular is tricky because there's often shame when the narcissistic person's caught. Not guilt as much as shame. They know it's a bad look. And they don't want to be viewed as a cheater by the world at large, right? They care about that image. And we know that narcissistic folks do not do well with shame, and they'll often turn it around at you, blaming you for their infidelity, offering half-hearted apologies, not really taking responsibility, gaslighting you, and then often doing it again down the line once the heat kind of comes off of them. Infidelity gives narcissistic people supply. It's validation, it's admiration, it's novelty. They get to love bomb again. They have a secret, which sort of helps them feel powerful. So cheating lets them tick a lot of boxes. And ultimately, the betrayal of narcissistic infidelity can sting, and sting hard. Because many people in these relationships who are in narcissistic relationships will feel that they have done everything, said everything, been everything, and given up everything for this relationship to work. And still, this narcissistic partner wandered outside of the relationship to get more. That hurts. The selfishness, the low empathy, the entitlement, the need for admiration and excitement, it's all on full display when we see narcissistic infidelity. So let's go back to that. What type of narcissistic folks are most likely to cheat? You can even pause this video and pretend this is a poll. If we were to take a poll, you put it in the comments, I'm guessing that most of you would say it's the grandiose narcissistic folks. And you'd probably be right. We don't have this data, and it wouldn't be easy to get, but I think it's a damn good hypothesis. Those of you in grandiose narcissistic relationships may find that it's sort of a never enough. The grandiose narcissists can never get enough attention. There's never enough excitement. There's never enough newness, fabulousness. Grandiose narcissistic folks are a good time. And you may be having fun with them in your relationship yourself. In some cases, after a while it does get pretty tiresome. But grandiose narcissistic folks are also going to flirt shamelessly with other people in front of you. The grandiose narcissist is that old guy who grossly flirts with a server in front of a wife and doesn't get how bad the look is and say, what's the big deal when they're questioned? You know exactly what I'm talking about. You get the picture. When it comes to all the ways that narcissistic people cheat, grandiose narcissistic people are most likely to do the shady, inappropriate DMing and texting for attention, to flirt, to forget to tell people they've met that they're married or in a relationship with you. It's the one-night stands on business trips and the longer-term affairs. And because they can justify just about anything, they will. Interestingly, because grandiose narcissists are the healthiest of the narcissistic folks and can actually keep treating you, sometimes even nicer than usual, when they are cheating, because their supply needs are being met. It is messed up, yes, but many people say they're like really nice and kind of happy all the time, and then found out that this was happening, and that does not feel good. But it is what it is. The malignant narcissistic folks may also cheat, but their cheating tends to be a bit more exploitative. It's a sort of crime of opportunity, or because it advances their interests in some sort of coercive way. For example, maybe having sex with a colleague or business associate, or flirting or communicating inappropriately with them as another means of getting control in a workplace or in a business deal. The malignant narcissistic person may pay for sex as a way to get off in a disconnected way, and they may not even consider that cheating. You typically won't see the malignant narcissistic people having any kind of emotional tie-in with the person they're cheating. It just tends to be one more situation where they can dominate. Now, vulnerable narcissistic folks, despite their sometimes lack of social skill compared to the grandiose folks, and their passive aggression and sort of being grumpy at the world, they might cheat. And in fact, one scenario could be it's a situation where if you're in a relationship with them, your life is going well, you're busier than ever, whatever it is, or maybe you're the primary breadwinner, and the vulnerable narcissistic person's insecurity may come out as cheating so they can feel a little bit bigger in light of all their shame. It may be more of an online behavior kind of cheating, or someone who takes an interest in their sad story that they tell. But I gotta say, with the vulnerable narcissistic folks, the probabilities aren't nearly as high here as with the grandiose folks, but vulnerable folks may cheat to help themselves feel bigger in some ways, probably more of that sex texty kind of cheating, because it takes more energy to do the other kind. Now, the communal narcissistic folks, when they find time in their schedule from saving the world, they might cheat. Lots of people project lots of goodness onto the communal narcissistic people, and they often surround themselves with people who swoon over their goodness. That can get into sometimes a bit of inappropriate savior complex worship towards them. Frankly, with the communal narcissistic folks, it kind of comes down to what their sort of underlying style is under their communal narcissism. A communal narcissist who's also grandiose, again, a higher probability because of the grandiosity and the entitlement, and perhaps feeling that it's their reward to have a side piece for saving the world. The communal malignant narcissistic folks are basically cult leaders, so they may very well exploit people as part of their pseudo-spiritual bullshit. The communal vulnerable narcissist, that's a rare combination. Anyhow, and maybe not so much cheaty also. And then there are those self-righteous narcissistic folks. This group, I'm going to say with the cheating, probably not. Now, in some cases, the self-righteous narcissistic person is so tightly wound that they may pop somewhere else. For example, you might see that they have sort of a compulsive use of pornography. And we call that a reaction formation. But mostly the self-righteous narcissistic person gets their supply from judging other people and feeling morally superior to them. So the self-righteous narcissistic folks may really be these straight and narrow types. Self-righteous folks may also be intimacy avoidant, withholding, cold, contemptuous. So dirty texting is not usually in their wheelhouse. And this gets tricky because they are such straight arrows with very painful barbs. But people looking at them will sometimes think, oh, you're so lucky to be in a relationship with him. He would never cheat. Self-righteous narcissistic folks will also harshly judge a person who might have cheated in a relationship, regardless of the circumstances, while continuing to emotionally abuse you as their partner, right? But they'll also be very loud in that moral judgment. In fact, more than a few folks I've talked with who are in relationships with self-righteous narcissists kind of hope the self-righteous narcissist would cheat so they seemed human. So no, this group may have some closeted behaviors or even some bizarre proclivities, but they are probably the least likely to cheat on a partner, at least in the ways we consider cheating is, like an emotional affair, a sexual affair, a sex texting affair. Self-righteous narcissists are also pretty cheap, so it can sometimes be hard to be unfaithful and not spend money, like gifts, hotel rooms, plane tickets. All that stuff costs money. So that also diminishes the likelihood. Now, we don't talk much, and we should probably talk more, but we don't talk enough about the neglectful narcissistic folks. These are the folks who don't even take notice of your existence unless they need something. These are folks who never protect you, who never notice your pain. They may not even be as verbally abusive, but you feel like a ghost with them. Again, whatever subtype that may also be co-located with their neglectful narcissism could highlight whether or not they would cheat. But this neglectful narcissism can be a bit of a more unique subtype. Sometimes it even has a slightly neurodivergent feel, a complete disconnection from you. But the manipulation, the gaslighting, the contempt, those are all there too. Neglectful narcissistic people may just view other people as objects to get things done. They may not cheat because it may seem like too much trouble to them. And just like with the self-righteous narcissistic folks, the neglectful narcissistic folks may get their validation through stuff like work, hobbies, things that they like and want, and with little regard for others, including for their spouse, children, and probably not even someone else to spend time with. Now, folks in past or current relationships with those grandiose narcissistic folks, you know what I'm talking about, and have probably had this kind of shady or full-on cheating behavior happen to you. The rest of you with the different kinds of narcissistic relationships, it may vary. We want narcissism to be this one uniform thing that looks one uniform way, and it's really not. And betrayal has lots of different feels in this relationship, whether it's active, like cheating, or passive, like neglect. The bottom line, though, both hurt. Thanks again.